to compete to get into the roster.
How about Garrison?
Yeah, Garrison's kind of a weird one. It's like a day-to-day, week-to-week thing. But he's been back in training. Today was the first time fully, and I would expect next week for him to have a full week of training.
You mentioned the other day after the game that after something like that, changes are in the works.
Yeah.
What has the process been like this week in deciding what kind of changes you need and where you are with those moves?
Yeah, I mean, changes is a word that I think it immediately goes probably to everyone's mind of personnel. Like, it goes down to just individuals, and that's not necessarily the case always. Changes needs to be some of the things that maybe obviously we're not identifying. The process has been this week is to make sure that I hear the feedback from the group. I give them feedback, and we come to an agreement about how we solve the issues at hand. And 2 out of the last 3 results, I know we lose versus Columbus, but 2 out of the last 3 results, everyone in the room agrees this is unacceptable. So I think we've identified a few different things that we all collectively want to try to get behind and make improvements. And then to what I alluded to first, some of that will come down to some changes within the 11. I mean, that's part of just deciphering where we need to go. And I've been happy with the response from the group. I think everybody was really at a low point, understandably so. Yeah. But this group, I'm telling you, they're a really honest group that fight, and that's exactly what we're going to do this weekend.
Obviously, whenever you allow a lot of goals, everyone looks at the goalkeeper first. When everyone knows it's a collective thing, but it is a young goalkeeper.
That's right.
Who can be very impressionable in an impressionable situation when goals are scored against him. How has June reacted to that? And is it a situation where you have to maybe take him along and consider other options?
Yeah, listen, whenever we were starting to reconstruct the goalkeeper department, I mean, he was high on our list from the very beginning, and I think he's really fulfilled what our expectations have been with how talented he is. I mean, I think everyone can see how good he is. At the same time, he is a young goalkeeper, so then the next thought process was to build with someone who has experience in the league, and Luis Barraza, and then Jordan Farr is our third. And June's a guy that he's early in his development process and his stage of his career. He's going to continue to factor in for us in this club, and then probably for some high-level clubs beyond us at some point in his career, because he's very, very good. The feedback that I gave him is we also have a responsibility in his development process to make sure to evaluate him and evaluate where he is in the group right now in relationship to what the team needs. So this is one that you would expect in 2 out of the last 3 results to give up as many goals as we do. We have to evaluate him as well. And, he's responded in a great way this week also. And he wants the team to win, ultimately. I mean, this is what I find out from – you find out a lot about everyone in situations like this, and everybody is of the mindset completely focused on what are we going to do to reset winning ways.
Gavin's been in regular training, right?
Gavin Turner.
Yeah, Turner. But he's not playing games, obviously. He hasn't been able to get into games. Is there a plan for him to go out on loan or have a greater role on this team? How do you push his development with actual competitive matches now?
Yeah, it's a tricky situation with us not having a second team, clearly. And for him, what we talked about since signing him is we want him to stay with us for a little while and make sure that he understands the principles of play and start to compete daily. Because last year he would be in and out of training with us. And, what we've seen is a guy that is close to competing to get into the roster. That's the truth. This week he's just had a setback because he's been ill this week. But the plan for him in terms of matches was to go and be with the academy, because he can still play with our academy even though we don't have a second team level. So he did that a few weeks ago versus Philadelphia Union and did well. He was going to go to the GA Cup that's going on this week, but just due to having I believe the flu, he's not going to be able to be at those matches. But we're going to continue to explore those options while he continues to impress every week and see if he can fight to get into the 20-man roster.
How is, just hearing things out here, the guys seem pretty up.
Yeah.
how have you been had to manage morale after some heavy losses?
Yeah, like I said, I mean, in the first day back, everyone's still low, and everyone is looking for answers. And the way that I manage people is I like feedback. I don't mind asking the group where they're at, what do they see, because collectively, I think this is the way that we're going to solve problems. I don't claim to know everything, you know, and like I said earlier, I think that we've come to a really good place in terms of saying, all right, let's narrow the scope, because so many things are in a good place, and we can't let 2 out of the last 3 that are clearly unacceptable results deter a lot of the progress that we've made in a lot of areas. So we've been able to really narrow that scope, focus on just a couple simple ideas for the week to prepare against a really talented Cincinnati team, and then try to get the morale of the group up, as you said, and that's where they are right now. They believe in themselves, they believe in what we're doing, and we're going to respond.
What, the roster deadline's in 12 days. Do you anticipate any movement before this window closes, or is everything geared towards the summer?
I'd say the conversations have been going on pretty frequently. We've looked at a couple different players. We've even gone so far as to make a couple offers, and that's not my world. That's certainly more Allie's world, but I don't mind saying that. I think he'd probably tell you the same thing. So we're actively exploring that. Do I think it'll happen before this window is done or not? It's hard for me to say that completely. Absolutely. But I would say if it doesn't, then absolutely in the summer we're going to try to go again.
See the Gazdag move?
I did.
Columbus?
Yeah.
That's a big one.
Yeah, it was a good move. It was a good move for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a very good player.
Yeah, got it.
And then we'll take some from Zoom. We'll go to Donald Wine.
Thank you. Hey, Troy, thanks for your time today. Obviously over the last few matches haven't gone your way. What have you seen from those 3 matches that you feel is missing? What could the catalyst be that you're looking for that hasn't been present so far?
Yeah, man. I mean, look, it's sandwiched in between 2 really bad results or one of our best performances of the year. And, I don't mind saying that even though we lose that match, I want to win every match, and I don't try to have silver linings. But against arguably the best team in the league in Columbus, it's a really good performance at home. And that was something that I thought we were going to completely build off of going into San Jose. The San Jose games and the Orlando City games, I think the biggest thing that we've kind of identified is mistakes are going to happen in the match, but how we respond to these mistakes is ultimately going to allow us to not only stay in the game, but get back into the game. And I think both these games, the response from the group hasn't been good enough. And that for myself too, by the way. So we have to adjust in match, but we have to keep fighting. We have to keep working. And that's what we're about. Those are the fundamental things that we're about in terms of our values. And we need to lean on those in difficult times. And that's, this has been a challenging week, but I can see the group coming back into who we are, who we truly are. And it's a tough test on the weekend, but I just want to see the group, whenever something goes against us, stay in it, fight. We're never going to quit. And in those 2 matches, I saw us back off, and that's not who we are.
Looking ahead to this weekend, you have Cincinnati. Obviously, you're one of the top teams in the league so far, but they've struggled on the road. What have you kind of seen in their film that you are actively preparing for when you face them?
Yeah, I mean, I've said this a few years now, whenever I was at Red Bull, and then even last year, and the job that Pat has done and their entire club has done to have a really clear way of playing, recruit the players. They've done a great job of recruiting players that are of a high level to be able to go and execute what they want to do. They've just been really consistent, and I think we try to go and take the initiative in the match, and they absolutely do as well. We just have to be really smart about what our setup is, respect them for sure, but also go and be ourselves. I mean, that's really what I care about, is making sure that we play up to our identity and who we are.
Great. Thanks, Troy, for your time.
Yeah.
Next, we'll go to Brendan.
Hey, Troy, appreciate your time. Just the one for me. You touched on it a little bit at the beginning, but we saw some of those tactical changes against San Jose. Was that more you wanted to change the tactics and the players that came into the lineup allowed you to change the tactics, or was it more we wanted to get these players on the field and the tactical changes came from that? I guess kind of chicken or the egg.
You say that there wasn't a lot of tactical changes. There was really one change in the match. We made Derek Dodson came in for Aaron Herrera because of the injury he sustained, and then Dominique Badji came in for Jared Stroud, so we put another number high up the field. There wasn't a lot of, I mean, there wasn't too much different in terms of like what we asked the group to do versus San Jose versus any other opponent that we've played. We tried to go and be aggressive against the ball. With the ball, we tried to be confident as well, and it just didn't come off on the day. So there wasn't a whole lot different though.
Next, we'll go to Dennis Gomez.
Thank you, Brian. Corey, thank you for your time. I just wanted to ask you, given the recent results, with the negative results, has there been any conversation from internally from ownership or management about expectations moving forward, or do you feel any added pressure, especially the game this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, always. I appreciate that question. Always, there's always pressure. I mean, look, as a manager in this profession, you're always trying to extend time. That's what you're trying to do. And you extend time through performances and results, ultimately. And the only way that stops is if you go out on top, and that's the end. Because you could go out on top, go to another club, and then you're trying to extend time again. That's the name of the game. I don't feel any added pressure. The pressure is always there. And, you know, it would be unoriginal for me to you know, claim any kind of lack of support or anything like that. I feel nothing but support internally. And we have challenges, man. I mean, there's challenges that we have that I think that I'm honest about. But those challenges we've been working on, we're going to continue to work on every day within our club. But those are internal conversations. Those are, you know, that's not for me to sit here and talk about publicly. And I can just promise you, man, I think that's real leadership, is making sure that we keep working at the things that we know we have to improve on internally. And for me, I hope that happens. We can keep trying to get at some of these issues and ultimately get results, because back to what I said in the beginning, that's the way I extend my time at DC United or any club for that matter.
Thanks for that. And then just a quick follow-up. Legends such as Landon Donovan and Tim Howard talked about DC United's current bad results recently, and they qualified it as a disaster. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, look, those two guys, I know both of those guys. Landon a little bit more so than I know Tim. Tremendous amount of admiration and respect for both of them. And I think everyone can form an opinion right now. And some of it, there's probably some validity in it, because we haven't gotten the results that we want to get. I wouldn't qualify using that type of language and that type of word. I mean, that to me is too far gone. And you know, I live it every day, so I know the progress that we're making. It's always about, can you do it faster? You know, the progress has to be faster. And then when you take two results like we took in the last 3 weeks, more questions are going to be raised, and more negativity is going to be probably cast onto any situation. I'm not going to operate in that space, man. I come in always optimistic, trying to provide hope. I love what Dan Quinn said about the Commanders in terms of trying to instill hope, and now he's working beyond that of like beyond selling hope. You know, we're still in a process right now where we're trying to really work to move the club forward from where it's been in the last 5 years, and it's not going to just happen overnight. It's going to happen with people who are going to fight and work hard. And I'm not going to label it with anything negative. I'm going to label it with, yes, there's challenges, but we're going to go at them, and we're going to speak about those internally, honestly, and then we're going to go and try to get results.
Thank you.
That's it, Troy. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, guys.